The vast chamber fell utterly silent. The Galactic Council, famed for its solemn judgments and unshakable composure, had never faced an interruption quite so audacious. Delegates from more than 100 alien species, each stranger and more elaborate than the last, turned their collective gaze toward the one responsible. A human, David Harris, Earth's representative, stood at the center of the hall, a faint, amused smile tugging at his lips. His question had been aimed directly at Councillor Zaru, a towering reptilian being cloaked in shimmering scales, whose companion was none other than the most feared predator in the known galaxy, a Cather. The Cather, a sleek white beast resembling a dragon, stood tall as a man yet was whispered to be unmatched in savagery and cunning. Legends insisted that no living soul had ever tamed one, few had dared even to approach. And yet here stood David, his hand extended casually as though beckoning a neighbor's dog. Zaru's scales shifted to shades of green and indigo, betraying his agitation. "Human, you dare!" he hissed, his voice echoing with fury. "Cather are not pets. They are the summit of evolution, hunters unrivaled. To reduce them to such an insult defiles their essence." David merely shrugged. "I've always had a way with animals. Besides, how can we claim to know one another if we never even try?" A ripple of murmurs swept the council chamber, disbelief sparking from every corner. Humanity was infamous for its boldness, but this bordered on madness. Zaru's Cather, called Zephyr, fixed David with cold blue eyes. Muscles rippled beneath its ivory hide, a low growl rising from its throat, a sound that had ended countless lives in terror. Still, David didn't flinch. "Permission to approach?" he asked calmly. Zaru hesitated, eyes narrowing. This human was either astonishingly brave or utterly reckless, perhaps both. There was a lesson here, either in humility or in respect for the Cather's might. Slowly, Zaru inclined his head. "Very well. Approach, human, but at your own peril." Grinning, David advanced. Councillors leaned forward, anticipation thick in the air. Some braced to intervene, convinced bloodshed was inevitable. Yet David walked with a quiet certainty that defied the danger. When he neared Zephyr, the growl deepened. David halted, hand still raised. He whispered words too soft for any but the Cather to hear. Zephyr's piercing eyes narrowed, and then, impossibly, its snarl faded. The beast's frame relaxed. Lowering its head, it allowed David's palm to meet its glistening scales. Gasps erupted across the chamber. Zaru's scales flickered in disbelief and faint awe. "Impossible," he muttered. Still stroking Zephyr, David looked up. "I think it's about trust," he said softly. "And maybe a little understanding. Humans may be new here, but we aren't without strengths of our own." Zaru stepped closer, studying the sight intently. "You have achieved what none have dared. You have earned the respect of a Cather. This is, without precedent." David chuckled. "Guess Zephyr likes me. We're friends now, right?" Zephyr released a deep rumble, astonishingly akin to a purr. Silence engulfed the hall as the enormity of the moment sank in. The Council, an assembly of the galaxy's greatest powers, had been shaken to its core. If a human could bond with a Cather, what else might they achieve? The chamber stirred with hushed voices, but Zaru lifted a clawed hand for silence. "This day begins a new chapter with humanity," he proclaimed. "Let it be known, Earth is home to courage and empathy alike. We must learn from them." David bowed his head in thanks, though his focus remained on Zephyr. He had come seeking peace, a chance to bridge divides between species. Instead, he had found something far greater. His bond with the Cather was beyond imagination, an act that shattered barriers and hinted at unity once thought impossible. As discussions shifted toward cooperation and trust, one truth remained clear: the Council, long divided by suspicion, now had a reason to unite. And at the heart of it all was a lone human, gently petting a dragon-like creature, proving that the simplest acts of kindness could reshape history. The aftermath lingered, leaving the chamber charged with new energy as David's hand rested on Zephyr's scaled head. Zephyr had now settled comfortably beside David, appearing calm and at ease. The council members exchanged silent glances, their earlier doubt shifting into curiosity and respect. At last, Councillor Zaru broke the stillness. "Human David, your actions have opened a path we never expected. Yet one moment of bonding does not erase the distance between our species. We must consider the larger meaning of this connection." David rose slowly to address the chamber. "I agree, Councillor Zaru. This isn't just about me and Zephyr, it's about the chance for humans and others to discover common ground. If we can nurture trust and respect, there's no telling what we could accomplish together. From the far side of the hall, Councillor Karaz, a tall insectoid with shimmering wings, clicked his mandibles in thought. Human David, your words hold weight. But words alone are not enough. We suggest a series of trials to test this bond and its implications. Will you and your Catha companion accept? David looked at Zephyr, who returned the gaze with steady eyes. We're ready, he said with a confident smile. The following days became a whirlwind. David and Zephyr underwent trial after trial, each crafted to examine their trust and ability to work as one. The first test took place in a vast simulation of a dense forest within the Council's headquarters. Their task: navigate obstacles through pure cooperation. Hidden traps, sudden pitfalls, and simulated predators challenged them at every turn. David trusted his instincts while Zephyr relied on his heightened senses to guide them. At one point they reached a wide chasm spanned only by a swaying, fragile bridge. David hesitated, eyes scanning the gap. Zephyr, we'll need your wings. Can you fly us across? The dragon flapped experimentally, sending a gust that made the bridge wobble dangerously. David inhaled deeply, climbed onto Zephyr's back, and with a powerful surge of wings, they soared over the abyss and landed safely on the other side. David laughed in relief, patting Zephyr's neck. Great work, buddy. From their observation platform, the councillors watched in fascination. Zaru nodded gravely. They move as one. This bond is stronger than we believed. The second trial tested communication. In a massive chamber of shifting walls and hidden passages, they had to find an exit using only sound and light patterns. David crouched by Zephyr, speaking softly. We'll need to listen, to watch, together we'll find the way. He whistled notes, waiting for walls to respond with faint glimmers. Zephyr, hearing subtler tones, nudged him toward the correct directions. Progress was slow, a careful dance of sounds and signals. At one dead end, frustration overtook David. This isn't working. We need another method. Zephyr nudged firmly, then growled and clicked in a rhythm. David paused, listening. The Catha was echoing the chamber itself. You're right, Zephyr, we need to mimic their language. Together they created a harmony of whistles and growls, matching the chamber's patterns. Gradually the walls shifted, forming a path to the exit. Exhausted but victorious, they stepped out. Above, the council burst into applause. Karaz, once skeptical, gave a slow nod. Their adaptability is remarkable. This bond is not only possible but advantageous. The third and final trial was the harshest, survival on the desert world of AKO. Dropped into endless dunes with scarce supplies, they were ordered to endure and reach the extraction point. The blazing sun scorched them as they trekked across the sands. We need water, Zephyr. Shelter too. Let's keep moving. Hours blurred into days. David's resourcefulness and Zephyr's hunting skill sustained them. They discovered hidden oases, hunted small prey, and took turns keeping watch through the freezing nights. One evening, sheltered beneath a rocky overhang, David rested a hand on Zephyr's scales. I couldn't have done this without you. You're not just my companion, you're my partner. Zephyr rumbled softly, curling closer. Their connection had deepened with each ordeal, proving the strength of cross-species unity. At last, after endless miles, they reached the extraction site where a council vessel awaited. Observers who had tracked every moment watched closely, their expressions transformed by what they had witnessed. Their return was met with awe and respect, the councillors welcoming them as victors. Councillor Zaru stepped forward, scales gleaming with approval. Human David and Zephyr, you have passed every trial with unmatched skill and unity. Your bond shines as a beacon of hope for this council. Weary but proud, David inclined his head. Thank you, Councillor Zaru. This is only the beginning. Together, we can accomplish so much more. The chamber hummed with renewed energy as talk turned toward the future. Their triumph had ignited a vision of cooperation that seemed limitless. With the trials complete, David and Zephyr had not only earned the council's respect but sparked a dialogue on true interspecies unity. Their connection was hailed as historic, a living proof of what mutual trust and respect could achieve. Taking the floor, Zaru's voice rang with authority. We have witnessed something extraordinary. The bond between human David and Zephyr is more than companionship, it is a bridge between worlds. The council must now decide how to build upon this revelation. Standing tall beside Zephyr, David's voice carried with quiet determination. I propose a program, an initiative that pairs representatives from different species with companions like the Cather. By fostering such bonds, we can form a foundation of trust and cooperation across the galaxy. Karaz, mandibles clicking in thought, responded. Such a program could transform our relations forever. Yet caution is vital. The Cather are not the only beings capable of bonding, and each participant must be carefully considered. While the council deliberated, David and Zephyr were led to a serene garden within the headquarters. Sunlight bathed the tranquil space as David sank onto a stone bench, Zephyr curling at his side with a contented sigh. David scratched under his chin affectionately. "Looks like we've started something big, Zephyr." The dragon rumbled with approval, eyes drifting shut. Their moment was cut short by a soft chime calling them back to the chamber. The pair entered once more, greeted by expectant faces. Zaru raised his voice. "We have reached a decision. The Council shall establish the Intergalactic Bonding Initiative, a collaborative program to pair representatives with companions, fostering respect and understanding, as we have seen with David and Zephyr." Applause rippled through the chamber. David's chest swelled with pride. "Thank you, councillors. I am honored to be part of this. I believe it will change the galaxy for the better." Karaz stepped forward. "Human David, we ask that you lead this initiative. Your unique bond with Zephyr makes you the ideal guide." David's eyes widened, then he smiled. "I would be honored. Together, we can build a more united galaxy." Preparations began at once. David and Zephyr traveled from world to world, sharing their story and recruiting participants. The response was overwhelming. Delegates of countless species volunteered, eager to form bonds with creatures from their own worlds. Their first major mission took them to those, home of the Idris, ancient tree-like beings known for isolation and mistrust. Greeted by Elder Thaler, whose bark-like skin radiated wisdom, David bowed respectfully. "We come to show what bonds can achieve. With trust, we believe unity is possible." The Elder nodded slowly. "We are cautious, yet curious. Show us this bond." Through cooperative displays, David and Zephyr revealed their seamless communication and teamwork. The Idris watched closely, skepticism softening into intrigue. At last, a young Idris named Erendor stepped forward. "If such a bond is possible, then perhaps it is possible for us as well. I wish to join." David smiled warmly. "It would be an honor, Erendor. Together we can shape a more united galaxy." With each world they visited, the initiative grew. New bonds were formed, species once divided by mistrust learning cooperation through partnership. One by one, the galaxy transformed. Years passed, and the impact was profound. Wars diminished. Alliances flourished. The once fractured council became a shining symbol of unity. David and Zephyr, leading the movement, remained an enduring reminder of what trust and empathy could accomplish. One day, standing before the Galactic Council's great steps, David looked out at a bustling square alive with countless species mingling and sharing stories. The galaxy was changed, a better, brighter place, because a human and a Cather had dared to trust one another. He turned to Zephyr, whose wise eyes reflected affection. "We did it, Zephyr. We really did." The dragon rumbled in agreement. Together, they stood as the galaxy they had helped unite thrived before them.